Hi everyone, it's me, I'm back, Alex, my channel, Eating Myself Thin. I know it's been a while since I did a video, but I've been so busy this week. I've had to cover at work and I've been on the van, but it's been lovely to see all my customers, so it has been enjoyable, but it has been a full on week. And so I thought I'd come on today. I'm making a beef stew for us at home, and I thought, why not show you all how I do that? All right, now you might see a bit of a setup because I want you to be able to see. Let me put that on. Is it working? See, I don't even know what I'm doing, you know. Oh my lord, I think 1 9. Oh, 1 9. Camera, yeah, right. So let's start again. Bosh. Should be working now. Yeah, so I've got this bit of contraption set up here because I want you to be able to see my pan while I'm filming. So you'll be able to see what I'm doing and also see what I'm doing here. Hope that helps. Anyway, so we're making beef stew. The ingredients you're going to need. And I've already chopped them all up because I knew that it would take forever, and I know my soup video was like 45 minutes, so I'm going to really try and cut it down this time. But this is honestly delicious. I will put up the macros and stuff, and the ingredients and everything like I did with my soup. But for the meantime, I'm just going to tell you, and I might put text up. So I've got like 4 carrots, and they're just chopped into bite-sized pieces, okay? Put to one side. I've got 1 medium large swede, again just chopped into bite-sized pieces like that, okay? I've got 3 white, well, brown onions, 3 of them chopped up like chunky. You see? Yeah, chunky. All right, so that's there. Now I've got about 1.4 kilos of beef. Now what I do, I'm going to insert a picture here. I buy like a joint from Tesco's. Doesn't have to be Tesco's, can be anywhere, but I'll buy the cheapest joint and I'll cut it up myself. All right, and that way you can get rid of all the sinew and stuff you don't want, keeping on a little bit of fat that you do want for flavour. All right, now it's the cheapest way to do it. By kilogram, it's so much cheaper than just buying braised steak or stewing steak. So that's what I do, but you can certainly just buy it cubed already, or buy the braised steak and cut that up. You know, it's up to you, but that's just what I do. And I'm going to be frying these all off individually in a minute. All right, so I'm going to put them there. What else have I got? I've got some plain flour. I've got some chicken stock alongside 4 beef oxo cubes. All right, I've got a whole tube of tomato puree, and I will be probably using the whole tube. I've got some Worcestershire sauce. Okay, I've got some onion granules. I've also got some bone broth here, just to add a bit more protein to the liquid. So you don't have to buy this. I just had it in the cupboard, so I thought I'd use it. And I've also got some chopped garlic, ready chopped garlic that you can see there, that I just buy them at all the garlics I buy already peeled, and then I just chop up loads and loads and loads, put them in a bowl, and then I cover them with some oil, and they last in the fridge for ages. So I'll be using some of that. I've got my trusted salt, pepper and umami seasoning, which is this one. You must get this, it's amazing. I've told you all before. I'll leave a link in the description for that. And I've got beef tallow. This is what I'm going to be using if there's enough to fry off the beef. All right, because we're going to fry it off before before we actually start making the stew, because we want to seal all those juices in. All right, so what I'm going to do firstly, I'm just going to show you this, and then I'm going to turn the camera off when it's all done, because again, I don't want to waste your time. All right, so I've got some tongs. I've got some plain flour. All right, I'm going to put, let's say, 2 tablespoons of plain flour into like a tub that you've got a lid for. All right, now I'm going to get some of this beef and I'm just going to throw it in there, a fair amount, maybe half of it, what's in this bowl. Yeah, about that much, about that wallop. All right, so close up your lid, and then we're gonna shimmy. Oh, mine's leaking. I knew I shouldn't have worn black. Right, we're shimmying it. Shimmy. Oh, I'm out of breath. Right, that should be done. Let's have a look. Yeah, perfect. Right, so now you can see I've got the beef coated with the flour. I could have probably put more. Do you know what? Oh no, I might overload it. No, I'm just going to carry on with that. Right, so flour all over my side already. Just what you want when you're cooking a video for YouTube, you know? I just love it. Getting all messy already. Right, so we're going to put this on to fairly high heat, and when it lets me, we're going to turn that on. Now mine's like numbered, so I'm putting it on. I'm going to put it on at first at 7.5. Right, and I'm going to add, and you can see on this one, I'm going to add quite a lot of this tallow at once. And I have got to hand some avocado oil for if there's not enough tallow. So I'm going to go and get that actually. Right. There you go, avocado oil. Now, I don't use seed oils at all. I don't use seed oils and I don't use vegetable oil. I use tallow, I'll use olive oil, light olive oil, and obviously extra virgin olive oil, avocado oil, coconut oil, but I won't use seed oils. And I mean, it's up to you, but they're really not good for you at all. So I try to cook like natural as possible. So beef tallow is amazing. You can get it from your local butchers. They'll do it. I've got mine from Alton's Butchers where I live, and it's not even that expensive. How much was that? £3 or something? £4.25 actually, that one. So yeah, I mean, I suppose it depends on what you think's expensive, but for me it's worth it because I do my own tallow as well. If I've got like, if I'm buying steak that's got loads of fat on it, you know, like a joint or whatever, I'll render the fat down and then make my own tallow. I've got some in the fridge actually over there. I forgot about that. So right, we're just waiting for that to melt down. So I'm going to bring you back when I'm ready. Right, now that's done. What I've done is I've gone ahead and got all the meat covered in the flour. All right, so I don't have flour everywhere anymore. So that's to one side. We've got 1 pair of tongs for the floured meat, and we've got another pair of tongs for dealing with it once it's in here. All right, so we're going to get some of our beef and we're just going to drop it in. Now I've got this on 7.5. I may have to turn it up. I'm going to see how it goes. We're just going to fry a few. We're just going to fry a few off at a time. What's just happened there is the lid of my cast iron pot has just fallen off the washing basket where I just placed it. That's the big crash bang wallop you just heard. Apologies for that. This is real life, and I am clumsy, very clumsy. And you'll get to know me and you'll get to understand that most videos there'll be some calamity going on. That's just the way I am. All right. Right, now then, we've just got that on and we're going to let it brown on one side. Now, you want it at high heat, but you don't want it to burn because you're going to keep all the flavours in the bottom of this pot for when we've finished colouring our meat. So at the moment I'm leaving it on that, and I will have to add more tallow as we go. So let's just check. Yeah, a bit more. I'm just going to show you how to do this one that I've got going on, and then I'll do all the rest off camera until we're ready for the next stage. All right, so let's see, a little bit more. Want to get, here we go. So turn that one round onto its side like that, and it will feel a little bit crispy, and that's because of the flour. You want that, because this, by doing this, hopefully we're not going to need to thicken our stew. It should thicken itself. All right, so this is about the kind of colours you want it before you turn over. Just leave that a bit longer. It's all very exciting, isn't it? I love stew. I've been struggling a bit this week, have to be honest. I hope you can hear me with all this going on. I'll tell you more about that in a minute. So nearly done with this first batch. Try and get every single side sealed. Right, we're pretty much there. All right, so I'm just taking them out. All right, with this tong. Now it is a bit spitty. It is a bit spitty, so be careful. I do have one of these, all right, that you can use just to stop it spitting at you, but obviously you've got to get the beef out. So right, now I'm putting them tongs down, picking these tongs up. You don't want to mix them. So we're putting in our next batch. Don't need to add any more tallow or anything at the moment. Probably will after this batch, I would think. Push that forward a bit like that. One more, I think, in there. There. Alrighty, so we'll come back when all of that's done. Alrighty. Right, I'm back. So that probably took me, let me show you, that probably took me about 4 batches. All right, and I added probably another tablespoon of the tallow. What I have forgotten to say is put your oven on to start before you start anything. Put your oven on to 170 degrees Celsius. I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit, but I'm sure you could do the maths. And yeah, so that you're ready to put it in the oven. Alrighty, so I've done that. Now the steak here, the beef has been put to one side. Now with the rest, you can see all this in here. Lovely flavour that is. All right, so now we're going to get all the other ingredients in and get them to cook a little bit in this flavour, to soften them a bit as well, because we want the stew to be ready when the meat's ready. We don't want to have the meat ready, but you're waiting for the carrots to get soft. It's hard to know. All meat's different. You could buy the same joint 2 weeks in a row, and one will cook quicker than the other. So we're aiming for finishing our stew when the meat's ready, not when the veggie's ready. So I always add my onions in. I always soften my vegetables for a while before I then put the stock and stuff in and then put it in the oven. Plus, we want to kind of deglaze the bottom of this pan. It's very hot because I'm using a Dutch oven, so always, if you are using a similar pot to me, it's iron, so the handles get hot as well, so do be careful. I have broken one of my hobs before by forgetting that it was iron and lifting up the lid without anything on it, and I literally just dropped it and smashed my hob. Yeah, not a good day. That was not a good day. Right, so we've added in some onions first. Now I'm going to add some of my special seasoning. Love. All right, you can see how much. So this is the seasoning. All right, and a good 1, 2 teaspoons. All right, I'll be adding and seasoning as I go. All right, that's just how I do it. You can do it your way. I haven't seasoned the beef yet, so just let them see all that flavours starting to come up from the bottom now. Yeah, getting all nice. I've turned the cooker down to 6 at the moment, but I will increase it in a bit. Right, so now we've done that, I'm going to add in our swede. Swede goes in. All right, and we're going to let that get all lovely in the flavours too, and then we're going to add a little touch more of our seasoning. You can just use salt and pepper, that's fine. I always used to just use salt and pepper until I discovered that seasoning, and now I use it for literally everything I cook. It's, yeah, I can't, until you try it, I can't put it into words really how nice it makes your food taste. It really is a game changer. Right, so last thing to do now is I'm going to add my carrots in, and again I'm just going to let these marry together in the pan. A little bit more seasoning. Plus, if you do it all in one go and you add too much, you know, you've ruined it. I've ruined dishes before by putting too much salt in. I have, and it's disheartening. You know, when you've spent hours cooking a meal and you're like so excited to eat it, and then you eat it and it's got too much salt. It's awful. Right, now all of this, all those goodie, I call it goodie, at the bottom of the pan, it's all come off now, and it's on the vegetables. All right, so we're just going to let that cook away for about 5-10 minutes, and then I'll bring you back. Right, I'm back. I'm back. Right, what I did, just to speed it up a bit, I added about 100 ml of water just to the pot and put the lid on, which is this big lid here. Right, put it on 5 minutes, and that softened the vegetables. So we've got all the lovely goodie off the bottom. We've softened the veg enough, and now I'm going to put my garlic in. You want to cook that off a little bit while I'm going to make the liquid, the juice to go in. All right, so I'm using, if you can see, that's probably about a tablespoon and a quarter, little touch more, maybe, yeah, tablespoon and a quarter. All right, of freshly chopped garlic. Now you don't have to use freshly chopped garlic. I've also done this stew plenty of times with the garlic puree, and just poured it into the liquid when I'm creating the liquid for after I've put the meat in. All right, so you don't have to, you can just use whatever. Now stir that about a bit until you can really smell that garlic coming through. We want to cook it out a little bit. All right, so now I'm going to add also some of my onion granules. Even though we've got onion in, I always use these granules. Just elevates it. Just what I do. So shall I do this in a tablespoon so that we know how much it is that I'm using? Right, this is a tablespoon, so half a tablespoon of onion granules. going straight in there. All right. Now, stirry. Now, can you see in that camera how the vegetables, you can see that they're not, you can tell that they're more rounded, like the edges aren't as sharp. Do you know what I mean? Obviously the onions have softened, but the vegetables themselves, like the carrots, they're not, the edges aren't as sharp, and that means they're softening, right? So I'm happy with that. There's no water at the bottom now. That's all gone by cooking the veg. And now I know that no matter how long it takes to cook this beef, I'm not going to be waiting for the carrots to cook, because that's the last thing that cooks. Right. So let's turn that right down to 4. All right. We don't need to really cook that anymore. And now I'm going to make the juice to go in. All right. So I've already crumbled 4 OXO cubes. This is a big 200 milliliter or 3 1/4 pint jug. Okay, so there's 4 OXO cubes in there. Right, now I'm going to add the Worcestershire sauce, and I'm going to do 1. I normally eyeball this. 2. 3. I'm going to do another one. 4 tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce. Okay, get that in the sink. Right, next comes the tomato puree. Now, I'm probably going to use this whole tube, but I don't know yet. I need to eyeball it. Just the standard tube. I normally buy it in the cans, but I haven't been able to find the cans. So this is a whole tube. It'd be easier for you guys to know what I'm using, actually. Right, okay. So I've used 2/3 of that tube. All right. Now I'm going to add some water from the kettle while I'm giving it a stir. All right, so we're just going to pour in about up to half boiling water. Put that there for a minute. All right. I've got a bad feeling my mic's not on. Yeah, it is. Right, so we're mixing it all up. Now, what we're going to do before we pour that in is we're going to add a bit more seasoning, because the beef's going in now. So I'm going to do another 2 teaspoons of my special seasoning. All right, and I'm going to just get my spoon now. I'm going to give it all a mix. The garlic's smelling delicious now. All right, smelling delicious. Now we're going to add our meat back in. All right, all this gorgeous meat. Wallop, chuck it all in there, and the juice. That's why I kept it in a bowl. All right, that's all in there. Now we're going to give this a mixy. Put all that in there. Now, because you've fried off, oh, that's hot. Because you've fried off the steak, the beef, that will lock all those flavours in the meat now. If you just put, you can make a stew by just chucking the meat in, and it will be nice, like it will. But if you want this meat to stay juicy on the inside, I don't know if ever of you made a stew in the slow cooker, and the meat is so tender and soft, but it almost goes dry. Do you know what I mean? Like it falls apart, but it's dry. That's because the meat's not being seared, and I think slow cooker overcooks it, personally. Yep, slow cookers are great. I use slow cooker sometimes, but for stew, especially for beef, it can overcook the meat for me, and then it's not enjoyable for me. Right, so that's all mixed in like that. Okay, now we're going to add this concoction. So this is the 4 OXO cubes, 2/3 of a tomato puree, Oh yeah, and 4 tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce. Oh my god, put your teeth in. Worcestershire, or the Americans call it Worcestershire sauce. All right, in that goes. Now, as you can see, I haven't added any wine to this, but you can. A lot of people add red wine, and I've done it a couple of times and it's all right. I don't mind it. It's all right. But yeah, for me, I prefer it without. But if you did want to do that, you deglaze the pan with it. So we'd have to go right back to after we've taken the meat out, and then we throw our veg in to get rid of the goodies on the bottom, you know, to release it, to deglaze it. That's when you'd put your red wine in and have it on a high heat so that it evaporated the alcohol, all right, before you added anything else into it. So you can do that if you want red wine. And yeah, if you like that, then do that. Right, so as you can see, we're all good. It's looking nice, but it's looking a bit thick. We need to add some more liquid. Now you can add water now to that, because it's quite thick, that sauce already. I'm going to add one of these Potts chicken stocks. You see it? Yeah. I love these. So I'm going to add a can of this and then see where we are, because it will lose liquid as well, you know, as you're cooking it. So we want to make sure everything's covered. So that's in there. Give that another stirry. Looks like it's got worms in it. It's not, it's fat. It's just fat because it's proper chicken stock. All right, now I am going to add a touch more water to that. Not a lot, but a touch. And then we're ready for the oven. So let's get my kettle, that will do. Just a little bit more. About like that. Everything's covered. Give everything a mixy. Right, now one last thing I'm going to do now is I'm going to add lots of pepper. Okay, I use this one from Costco. It's just Kirkland fine pepper. And I will not use that side, otherwise it'll all come out. And I'll do quite a few little, does need quite a bit of pepper for me. It gives it depth for flavour. So I've done about 20 pumps of that. And then I will now do a little bit more of this seasoning. Again, you can season afterwards, so don't overdo it. Once it's cooked, you can also add seasoning then. All right, so don't worry, less is more sometimes. All right, so yeah, you can season it at the end. So that's now ready. Gonna push all that down so everything's covered. That is now ready for the oven. I've got pepper up my nose and I feel like I'm going to sneeze everywhere. Yep, it's coming. It's coming. Right, I'm going to get it in the oven quick before I sneeze. Oh. So I've got my oven on 170. It's really heavy. Really heavy. Oh, it would help if I had the shelf right. Wouldn't it? There we go. Right. This is a job and a half. This is. If you are using a Dutch oven, I told you that pepper had got up my nose. If you are using a Dutch oven, make sure if you cut, you know, that you can carry it full of liquid to the oven before you do it in there. You can use any oven proof dish, don't have to be cast iron. I just like cast iron because it keeps the heat in, because when I make it and I dish it up, and I've cooked it, I let it sit out for like 2 or 3 hours before we have it, and the cast iron keeps it lovely and warm, and it just lets everything marry each other in there. So that's what I do. But right, I'm back now. This is the time you clean up all your shit, put it away, leave that in the oven, set your timer for an hour. All right, and then I'll bring you back in an hour's time. We'll have a look at it, we'll give it a taste, we'll test the meat and take it from there. All right. Right, I'm back. It's been an hour. My oven's just gone off. I'm going to go and get it out. I doubt it'll be ready, but we're just going to check on it. Always better to check on it a few times rather than leave it to go too far and you overcook the meat. Again, very, very heavy, so do be careful when you're doing this. Oh my Lord, it's very, very heavy. Okay. Whew, looking lovely. So we're going to get a stirrer. Just give it a stir around. Smells absolutely amazing. I can't show you this at the moment really, but it's looking good. I'm going to try a bit of the meat. Yeah, no. So what I'm doing is I'm just pushing the meat against the side of the pot to see how much resistance there is. Do you know, there's a little bit there. Let's get a fork and try that. Also, which I didn't say, you do want to make sure you try and cut your meat all the same size. Right, so yeah, I've stuck a fork in it and I can tell it's not done. All right, so put that back in. Make sure it's all covered over. Oh, looks delicious, have to say. It looks delicious. So I'm going to put that back in the oven for another half an hour and I'll be back. Right, it's been in another half an hour. I'm going to go and get it out. Now, I'm going to be putting dumplings in mine, and you don't want the meat to be fully cooked because I'm going to cook the dumplings in here as well. So let's see what this meat's doing. Can you see there? Yeah. Okay, take the lid off. Bubbling away. Right, let's have a little feel of the meat. See how I'm just gonna put it up against, yeah, so there's still a tiny bit of resistance. I think this has got another 20 minutes to be ready, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add my dumplings. Now I've just made these off camera because you might not want to have the dumplings. You might want to keep it, you know, low carb, no potato, no dumplings, no nothing like that, and it's fine. But I've just made dumplings up with a Torah, really easy. Read the instructions, it's very simple, and I've just made a few balls like that, and I'm just going to drop them in now. Drop them in one at a time, like that. Just drop them in. So if you are adding dumplings, you don't want to, you want to make sure the meat isn't quite ready, because otherwise, because these are going to take 20 minutes and then you're going to overcook the meat by 20 minutes if you do it like that, right? So that's me, job done. Lid goes on. Oh, I can't wait for this. In the oven it goes for 20 minutes, and then I'll come back, I'll take a picture and show you, and I'll show you when I've dished it up for dinner. Hope you enjoy it, hope you make it, hope you love it as much as I do, and yeah, take care, and I'll see you all soon. Right, here it is out the oven after another 20 minutes. Look at that. Look how juicy it is. We don't need to thicken it at all. It's thick enough. The dumplings are cooked. The meat's perfect. It's just so delicious. I wish you could smell it. So yeah, this is it. Just about to dish it up and eat it for my dinner. Yum.